excuse the beard. Today we're driving the Hyundai i20 N-Line, but we're not going to be talking about the car today. We're actually going to be talking about the Tata Sons acquisition of Air India. Many people are very happy about Tata Sons acquiring Air India because they think it's a sort of homecoming of the airline to the company that founded it. Now, the government had nationalized Air India back in 1953 when Ratan Tata was barely a teenager, and now he's an octogenarian. So things have changed since then. Keep in mind, in 1953, Air India was a very limited operation that flew some international sectors, and the Indian aviation space was far more confusing then than it is today. But we won't talk about that. I mean, it's a great thing that the Tatas have control of Air India again. And you also have to keep in mind that even after Air India was nationalized, Chairman J.R.D. Tata did run things in the airline. In fact, if you go to the executive offices of Air India in Nariman Point in Mumbai, the executive floor, when you get out of the lift, the first huge office you see, which is kept just the way it was on the last day Mr. J.R.D. Tata had gone there, is Mr. J.R.D. Tata's office. It's a huge space with a fantastic view of the bay and of Marine Drive, because you've seen how imposing the Air India building is in Mumbai if you have gone down Marine Drive. So that's enough about Air India then. But it's not the same anymore. The Tatas have actually gotten to aviation in a fairly big way even before this acquisition. They don't just run Vistara, which is their joint venture with Singapore Airlines. They also run AirAsia India, where they are today the majority shareholder, and they pay a significant amount for licensing the brand from AirAsia and Malaysia. Then with Air India, they don't only get Air India, the domestic and international operations of Air India. They also get Air India Express, which is the low-cost, mainly Kerala to the Middle East, not just Kerala, but mainly Kerala to the Middle East operations of Air India Express, which has done very well after the collapse of Jet Airways, despite 2 fatal accidents for Air India Express and a couple of other non-fatal mishaps. And they also get Air India Regional, and Air India Regional operates a fleet of ATRs, both out of Delhi and mainly out of Delhi and Kolkata connecting from Kolkata and Guwahati to the rest of the northeast, and from Delhi to all sorts of places. I mean, I have flown on Air India Regional in the recent past to Dehradun, to Bikaner. So they have a significant amount of operations there as well. They also acquire the brand of Indian Airlines, which, while defunct today, they acquire that brand. They are also acquiring, when they acquire Air India for about $2.4 billion US, it's about $2 billion of debt and $400 million for all the other assets, which includes the brands, and those brands are fairly powerful. And they also the debt. Now the Tatas, given their how well the group does, and the huge amount of money they just raised recently from TPG for their passenger car EV business, fabulous. So the Tatas will not find it difficult to raise money or service the debt at a very high cost. They'll probably get a very good deal for servicing the debt. But Air India today, with its various operations, it is estimated still makes about a loss of anywhere from 600 to 800 crores every month. So in addition to the $2 billion of debt that the Tatas will be servicing for Air India, they will also acquire another $1 billion of debt in the first year of operations. And for the first year of operations, they will not be able to remove a lot of employees. After that, I'm sure they'll do some VRS scheme. Air India is very inefficient. In fact, other than the long haul Boeing 777s and 787s, they don't own too many aircraft. Many of the older owned A320s have gone away now. They still have some, but the domestic operations are mainly run by a fleet of leased A320neos, which is fairly similar to the fleet that Vistara uses as well. So there'll be some amount of route rationalization for Air India and Vistara, I hope. I don't know how they run the brands. I mean, would you call the domestic operations Air India Vistara, or would you call something else on the international operations, or would you do something like called business class Vistara class, or would you make Vistara into a sort of domestic low-cost operation? Air India Express, I doubt, will be touched, because that's a fairly useful international low-cost brand they have. And definitely regional travel, both to Southeast Asia and the Arabian Peninsula, can easily be run by a low-cost operation like Air India Express. How they will run the other rides, particularly flights to the US, and scheduling, and the issues of aircraft. I mean, Vistara has a fleet of 787-9s, whereas Air India has a fleet of 787-8s. Now, you can say similar aircraft, but you'll have to get the aircraft right and the service offering right. I mean, Air India's service offering is fundamentally different to that of Vistara's. Not just the way the air hostesses look, but also the food, the quality of the seats, and more. It's going to be a major challenge for the Tatas to manage that, because you cannot have different levels of service on different flights. I mean, what if you get a 787-8 one day and one sector and a 787-9? You know, people get very distressed, even on Emirates, when you get two different types of business class offerings on the same sector. And this happened to me, where I'm flying from Delhi to Dubai and return. One day I get a crappy old 777. The next time I'm flying on a brand new 777 with where business class is another level. Because the old 777 Emirates has, I mean, I had a fairly bad experience a few years ago where on a Dubai to Delhi sector, my seat didn't recline. They gave me a bunch of Skyward Smiles. An apology though. It would have been, it was a bit frustrating, simply because I'd just come off a West Coast to Dubai flight. That's something else. But there are challenges. I mean, let's not go rah-rah. I think the Tata Group have significant challenges in getting Air India right. Of course, they haven't made the acquisition yet. They're the preferred bidder. I hope everything goes ahead. We are very happy to, I think most people are very happy. Even detractors of the privatization program are not complaining about Tata Sons acquiring Air India. They would have been far more upset had been Ambani or Adani acquiring Air India. Of course, Gautam Adani does run most of India's airports right now, but it should be an interesting thing to see, and let's see how they manage it for the next few months. Thank you for watching Excuse the Beard, and another video coming up on this Hyundai i20 N line, which is a fantastic little hatchback. But do we really want little hatchbacks right now? Thanks, man.